Who is the strongest starter Warframe? That's the topic of this video, and I'll be going over their lore capabilities and of course their in-game ones, because their lore capabilities make them way stronger than their in-game ones. So when you start Warframe, you're met with 3 choices that will shape your first few hours of the game. And this is where a lot of people become so conflicted because it's like a really hard choice. Don't worry about it. In order, you have Excalibur, the sword guy, Mag, the chick with the magnetic powers that aren't really magnetic, and Volt, the electric speedster. Now, all the picks are solid. However, one frame will definitely give you a gradual, smoother progression vibe. Let's start off with Excalibur. He's a decent choice if you want to start blasting pretty early on, as he will have the highest ability damage from the get-go. And his first ability not only bounces off different enemies, but gives you invulnerability, improving your survivability even further, especially early on in the game. It costs 25 energy to cast, and is a pretty solid ability. But as time goes on, your damage will start to fall off because all he does is melee stuff. And to increase your damage with his abilities, you need augments and better energy sustain, which you will get eventually. So usually people feel like they need a new frame right away, and they get uninformed people saying, wait till you get Umbra. No, the regular Excalibur is still better, because regular Excalibur does not have a buggy passive that DE refuses to fix, and made an augment to just simply turn off the passive. And of course, Umbra, you're forced with Umbral polarities that reduce your mod combination potential. And funny enough, out of the 3 Umbral mods, Umbral Intensify is the only justifiable mod. Then you have Mag. Mag is a very complicated character for all new players. Her first ability doesn't do damage and has very small use cases. Her second ability doesn't do damage on its own, requiring you to have enemies pulled in, build up damage, and then have it do big kabloomies when it expires. Her third ability is mostly utility for survivability and useful to enhance your damage. And her fourth ability is primarily utility with a little bit of damage. So again, not the best choice for someone completely new and has no idea how the game works. Then we have Volt. He is the most balanced out of the 3 and has more player onboarding as his abilities and playstyle gradually get better over time. The only ability that will make you feel you've hit a major wall is his fourth ability, as the damage begins to heavily taper off and becomes utterly useless in the damaging department, as it requires way too much investment to barely do much damage, as you have to gather as many enemies as possible, add ability damage shards, roar, armor strip, because for an electric frame, his fourth ability does not even proc the electric stats effect. It doesn't even scale with his passive, and it also needs the first ability to increase the chaining. All in all, the fourth ability is heavily hindered in its scaling potential, and it's the ability you replace 9 times out of 10. And Volt becomes more of a weapon buffer rather than a well-rounded frame, as he was designed to be. And when you look at these 3 frames all together, you will see that Volt and Mag both turn out to be really good weapon platforms, while Excalibur becomes a hybrid. So if you like to do ability damage and also use melee weapons, Excalibur's your go-to. Now, in lore perspective, Volt is by far the strongest. Now, if the 3 frames were going to go up against each other in a free-for-all, Volt would win hands down. And here's the reason why. Number 1, speed. If you watch the cinematic, you can clearly see he is moving so fast everything is at a standstill. Not only that, he could take out both frames before they could even do anything. If he gets blinded by Excal, Volt can still sense and control electricity, and can most likely sense Excalibur's bioelectrical signals, and easily close the gap with speed and take out Excalibur. And let's say Volt gives them a handicap and doesn't use speed. He still has his other abilities like shield and of course, electrical abilities. Now, in the lore case, his fourth ability actually does electrical stuff. Now, in-game, electricity can destroy shields. Now, if you look at this in the lore perspective, electric powers can disrupt the transference connection, just like how Amon from Legend of Korra takes away people's bending. Volt's electrical powers can most likely sever the connection. This, of course, if it's a Tenno versus Tenno situation. Now, same thing when he's up against Mag. Because Volt uses electrical powers, he can disrupt and scramble magnetism. Let's say he's trapped in Mag's bubble and has bullets flying around him. By blasting the moving objects with a focused electrical field, he can induce eddy currents inside the bullets. These internal currents create their own magnetic field that opposes the original motion. And to easily escape the magnetic field, Volt can just shock his way out, using the laws of physics to nullify or scramble the field lines. The most direct way to escape is to create a dead zone within the magnetic field. If Volt generates a specific high-intensity current loop around himself, he can create a secondary magnetic field. By applying Lenz's law, Volt ensures his secondary field is the exact opposite of the external one. Let's say Mag's magnetic field is way too strong to simply cancel out. Volt can turn the air around him into highly conductive plasma. By stripping the electrons from the air molecules, Volt creates a shell of plasma, a dense plasma that drags and pushes the magnetic field lines with it to the point he can expand a sphere of ionized plasma outwards. It's like being inside a bubble that the magnetic field is forced to flow around rather than through. Or let's really play into Volt's strength because he has speed and electricity combined. He can vibrate his own internal or external electric fields at 1,000,000 cycles per second. This creates a chaotic, rapidly oscillating magnetic noise. Since Mag's power relies on stable, coherent field to exert force, hence why I say Mag is a mix of magnetism and telekinesis. To pull this off, the constant stuttering of the field makes it impossible to maintain a hold. Volt just becomes too slippery for the magnetic field to latch onto. Yeah, I got carried away on this one. Yeah. And for those wondering, Mag was my first choice, and I don't regret it at all. For the people starting out, pick whichever frame, I don't know, looks good to you. But Volt will give you a smoother experience till you get frames that will either change your gameplay for the better or worse. Anyway, that has been it for me. I do hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video. And if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe. For more Warframe content, streams, and so much more, do refer to the description. Thanks for watching. And as always, a peace. Bye-bye now.